Welcome back, baseball fans, to an eliminating the Seattle Mariners video. And unfortunately for the Seattle Mariners, they got eliminated while watching television, while watching the Rangers and Angels play. They came into this tournament in second place with the caveat that if you played poorly enough in the first round and you had the worst record in your division, you would be eliminated. And that's exactly, and unfortunately, what happened to the Mariners. They did not win a game, and it put them at the bottom of the American League West. And when you finish in fourth, your season is over. And when you look at the stats, they were game over 500 last year as a surprise. They were surprising for a bit this year, but again, just too many average cards and players and that sort of thing. Team batting average of 232 is one of the worst in all of Strat. The 349 pitching ERA is pretty good. They had the lone all-star was Jim Price, and there you see him at the top. 283, 5 homer and 17 RBI, and all of 60 at-bats. Pepitone did a decent job. Matty Alou didn't do as much as we thought, only had 244 average and 287 on base. Maybe there's a reason why Pittsburgh let him go to the Mariners. Beyond that, the offense just struggled. Joe Foy had some stolen bases coming over from the Mets. Pitching, Dick Woodson did a nice job coming in. Steve Klein was kind of mediocre. Fred Norman matched his performance. The long relievers weren't that good, but really it was probably the hitting that caused this team to fail more than the pitching. Not a lot to say, really. I mean, they didn't exist during this timeline, and you had a feeling with the Oakland A's in their division. They weren't going to win the division anyway. They just couldn't quite get over the hump of California and Texas. Interestingly, they lost 4 out of 5 to the Angels, which is why they lost the tiebreaker to the Angels. They had beaten Texas 4 out of 6, but they also finished 2 games behind the Rangers in the overall standings. So that's pretty much a summary of the Seattle team, and we'll take a look here at their stack and see what 1970 cards would be going away and which ones would remain. And always a team in transition are these expansion teams, because you never know what they're going to get. You never know who's going to come in and year out. So we'll take out the 8 1970 players. Is that 8 of them? Yep. And so these are the 12 guys who will begin to make up the roster of the Mariners next year. And it's mostly hitters. They're going to go with an 8-4 split. So they're going to keep a lot of their offense and have to rebuild their pitching staff. They have John Ellis as a decent catcher. Pepitone at first. Maxwell can play short. Devaney can play second, though better suited as a utility player. They have some nice outfielders. Well, they've got 4 outfielders. Ulander can play every day. Matty Alou can't field, but he could be a DH every day. Ron Wood's a corner guy against lefties, and then Dave May's an everyday player. So they got nice pieces, as you can see. They just don't have, the best player to build around. They don't have a building block to build around here. And their 4 pitchers, all starters. Look at that. They are set at starting pitcher. This is really cool. Klein, Woodson, Norman, Lockwood. And all 4 of these guys, believe it or not, pitch on 3 days rest. So if they were shrewd, they might think of getting on the phone and trading 1 or 2 of these guys. Do they really need 4 guys to pitch on 3 days rest when you're an expansion team? I mean, if you have an opportunity to get, I think there's some playoff teams who could use some postseason kind of pitchers. How about the Reds wanting Fred Norman, for instance, But the Yankees wanting Steve Klein. The Twins wanting Dick Woodson. The Mets maybe wanting Skip Lockwood. Interesting. So that's where they're at right now. But let's take a look at those 8 guys from 1970 and see if they have a future with the Seattle Mariners. All right, let's take a look at the Seattle Mariners 8 players of the 1970 year that are up for contract. And the first one is Joe Foy. who won a World Series for the Mets last year, and saw what reality is when you go to an expansion team like Seattle a year later. So he really did the expansion thing in reverse order. He was with the Kansas City expansion team in '69, then he went to the Mets. We kind of flipped it, where he started with the Mets in '69, and then he went to an expansion team in '70. He's a Washington Senator in 1971. They would have made this card, I believe. 363 on base. We can verify that if he does have a 71 Strat-O-Matic card. With 158 plate appearances, he probably should. We can check it by going to the Super D site, Gary's Strat-O-Matic page. That's where he has these roster sheets. So let's see if they have a Joe Foy card for the Washington Senators. Here's your Washington Senators. And maybe he's an extra player. Joe Foy. There he is. Right there. So his card exists. Well, let's make him a keeper for now. Start on the plus side, because if we find guys better, we can put them on waivers. All right, the next player is Norm Miller, who was a Houston Astro. Norm actually didn't get a lot of playing time as a left-handed hitting corner outfielder, couldn't hit lefties. Played from 65 to 74 with the Astros. We had a 70 card. At 239 with it, 689 OPS. 71, he only has 81 plate appearances, has a better performance. 72, even better, 723 OPS, more plate appearances. And 73 and 74, probably not enough plate appearances. A couple things. First of all, if you want to put him on waivers, he has to have a card in 71 for Houston. And 71 and 72 Houston cards are probably about the same anyway, but while we get the 71 set up, let's see if there's a Houston Norm Miller card. Here's Houston's outfielders. Let's see if he's an extra guy. No, he's not an extra guy. But we still have one more thing to check. He didn't make his card in 71. But remember, he had a few more plate appearances in 72. Let's check the 72 roster sheet then. See if you have Norm Miller comes back after missing a year. So Norm Miller with the Astros. And there he is. So he's got a 72 card. Now this is kind of tricky. Unfortunately, they can't put him on waivers. So he's either a keeper or a retired player. When we saw the Seattle stack of cards, we saw 4 outfielders and 2 were already left-handed. This is a tough situation here. You could retire the player, and he could come out of retirement for somebody else. You wouldn't get anything as compensation. You can't stick him on waivers. Well, for the time being, let's keep the guy, right? Since he does play in 72. Make a note 72. And we want to trade away his rights to a team that wants him for 72. That's just a kind of a notation there. All right, the next player is Jim Price. This guy went to the All-Star game because he just overachieved dramatically. It's a fun story, but he pretty much is over with. 71. Let's see if he's still backing up Bill Freehan for the Tigers. Detroit Tigers, yeah, he's still there in 71. He's got a card. Let's put on waivers then. He has a card, but it's probably not a good one. You can put him on waivers. Good spot for him. Boy, he's free to go anywhere. And now another Tiger, teammate of his, Don Wirt. Price and Wirt were teammates, and they both ended up with the Mariners. Here's Don Wirt, good glove, third baseman. Got a Tiger hat on there. Here's a 70 card, but you see in 1971, he's only got 46 at-bats and he hits 50 cents. So let's retire Don Wirt. And this is predictably not becoming a very fruitful situation. Honestly, though, we know that the Mariners are already carrying 8 batters anyway. So if they dump all 4 of these guys, it's not a big deal. The pitching is really going to be where they need to make their money. They got to find a bullpen. They have no relievers. Let's start with Skip Pitlock. Let's see if he actually improves from his 70 performance, which was a kind of average anyway. Skip Pitlock. pitched from 70 to 75, so it's right in the sweet spot of this timeline here. Unfortunately, well, you know what? He can catch on in 74. That's the new season. 105 innings with the White Sox and a 3.90, 4.43 ERA and a 1.49 WHIP. 74 White Sox. Let's go see if that season. Let's see if that card's available. So we can go to 74 original. And this is the Chi Sox reliever, Skip Pitlock. There he is. He is available, but if you keep him, you're keeping him all the way for 74. All right, so let's say yes for now, and hopefully we'll start thinking about realizing that none of the players we've mentioned so far are really building blocks that have any, really above average performance. Diego Segui is next, and he should have some good stuff coming up here. Diego Segui. Yeah, he should have some good stuff coming up here. So he had a 70 card, which is really good. 2.56 ERA. Heck of a nice card. Probably was underused. In 71, he follows it up with another nice card. So yeah, he's a keeper. He's going to be around for a while. And if you go to 77, the year of the Seattle expansion team, he wasn't very good, but he did play for the Mariners. Let's keep old Diego now, as he might have the most potential of any of these guys. And you see we have 4 keepers. Next up is Luke Walker, a left-handed pitcher who pitched for the Pirates. Luke Walker. So 70, 71 and 72, he's got some nice years as well. I'd hold on to him. Similar performance, really, and certainly good enough for an expansion team, so I'd hold on to Luke Walker. So now we have 5 guys we're thinking about keeping, and we can only keep 4. That's a good situation for our expansion team. And lastly, Hoyt Wilhelm, and I'm pretty sure you'd think the guy would never retire, but I actually think he does. No, he does not. He continues, folks. I was wrong. Hoyt is still out there. He was out there in 1952 to a tune of 15-3 for the New York Giants. Was out there for another decade after that. So he pitches all the way to 1972. My goodness. However, I don't know if Strat-O-Matic made any more cards for him. So in 71, oh, this is going to get confusing. In 71, he would pitch for the Braves and Dodgers, and 72 for the Dodgers. But really, it's 17 innings and 25 innings. And I seriously doubt they made his card. But we may as well double check, right? So let's check, oh boy, 71, Hoyt Wilhelm, Braves, Dodgers. Let's just go check it. Be complete. Hoyt Wilhelm, there's those guys, there's those guys. No, not for Atlanta. Not for the Dodgers. Let's check 72. Well, I got the roster sheet up. He's only a Dodger. No. Strat-O-Matic was not amused by bringing Hoyt in for another year at age 48 and 49. They said, no, we're not going to make his card. So, unfortunately, we did just retire Hoyt Wilhelm's card of 1970. A classic. So there you have it for the Mariners. Well, 5 guys they're thinking of keeping. And it wouldn't be hard to eliminate any of those 5 from consideration and move them into waivers. But nothing really looks like a future bet. Nothing really stands out to say, oh, this guy's going to get a heck of a lot better in the future. So Seattle's going to have to get lucky through some rookies in 73 and 74 in this timeline. So that's that. Thanks for checking out this Seattle Mariner elimination video, and we'll see you next time.